Welcome back to another video. We're back with another one in today's video. We're gonna be watching and reacting to John Morant's career is falling apart. I think he just got traded to like the Miami or whatever. I have no idea, but let's see why his career is falling apart.
Party's over in Memphis. They've got to find Ja a ride out of there. I would say home, but they've got to find him a new home or he's going to stick around. It has been a rough market for Ja, and there's no signs that's changing.
When I say he
Very
has
true.
no value, I don't even think that's accurate. I think he's got what they call in the league negative value.
4 years ago, John Morant was the most exciting human being in all of
Yeah, like I don't know, he dropped because of the mad suspensions and the mad the what you call it, the wow, holy stuff, bro. We're gonna have to put this as a 4K. Dang it. I'm trying to boost the quality up, but you trying to because of the uh injuries, yeah, injuries. Crown. Holy shit. Yo, Gunner, you back, bro. Anyways, just bro, yo, this shit's stupid. Hello. Oh my god, what the fuck is going on?
basketball. And I am not exaggerating. This was a 6'2" kid out of Murray State, jumping clean over centers, throwing down dunks that made grown men scream into their phones, dragging a little Memphis team nobody believed in all the way to the top of the Western Conference. He was the future, not part of
it. He was
part of it, but literally the future. And Memphis looked at him and said, "You are our franchise cornerstone. Take $200 million and become the face of Memphis for the future." Today, his own team is shopping him around. And the wildest part is, nobody wants Ja Morant anymore. I want you to really sit with how insane that is. We're not asking, is Ja hurt? We're not asking, is Ja in a slump? The actual conversation happening inside of NBA front offices right now is whether the player we all fell in love with is just gone for good.
He's not gone for good, bro.
Like Derrick Rose when he hurt his leg against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, yo, I remember that.
There are three things that got us here. One is when he finally got benched. Two is his actual numbers. And three is how much he's getting paid at this point. People are talking about John Morant like he's 36 years old and in the twilight of his career, when he really should be entering the prime of his career right now. It's really sad because John Morant is about to join a graveyard of explosive guards that the league fell head over heels for and then watched as they completely fell apart. I'm talking about MVPs. I'm talking about guys who looked exactly like Ja and
like explosive power and everything, bro.
Somewhere that nobody saw coming.
Like, bro, I heard Ja's name in like a little minute. That's how irrelevant this dude is, man.
I'm going to break down the Ja Morant trade rumors. I'm going to break down how we got to this point. So before we get to the content, if you want to be up to date with the latest NBA news throughout the offseason, make sure you're subscribed. Now that we get all that out of the way.
But yeah, also subscribe to me. I know y'all watch like 1 minute, bro. So y'all subscribe to me. It's like 5 minutes into the thing. Well, into my video. Well, just about 3-4 minutes into it. I need y'all to subscribe right now. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to all my channels. Yeah.
Today's video.
Oh. But we finna definitely use this dude for everything. I love his content. Twitch. Everything.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Let me take you all the way back to 2021. Ja Morant wasn't hype. He was the real thing. The man was selected number 2 overall in 2019, right behind Zion Williamson. And for a minute, Ja Morant looked like he was going to be the actual face of the next era of the NBA. The man was dunking taking on centers. He won Most Improved Player. He made an All NBA team, and he took a young, scrappy Memphis squad that was supposed to be years away and dragged them to back top seeds out west. And the numbers weren't empty highlight reel stuff either. In his
True.
best season, the 2022-23 season, Ja put up 26 points and 8 assists a night as the number one option on a real contender. He wasn't just padding stats on a tanking team, he was the best player on a squad that genuinely believed it could win a championship. So
And then she just kind of like the gun violence bullshit. I don't know, man. He just flashed one gun, and then it's like over. I'm like, what the
did the only thing that made sense at the time. They went all the way in. They handed him a 5-year max contract worth about $197 million, fully guaranteed. The entire franchise was John Morant. But somehow, some way, this contract looked like a absolute disaster. And the whole thing cracked wide open on November 1st, 2020.
4,
Memphis is
5,
playing the
alright.
Lakers in an NBA Cup game, and on the surface, the box score doesn't really scream catastrophe. Yeah, Ja finishes with 8 points on 3 of 14 shooting, and he was a
God
trouble
dang, 3 to 14. That's like less. That's like, well, like 15%, something like that.
factor when it mattered. But if you actually watched it, you saw something worse than a cold shooting night. You saw a guy who was mentally checked out. At one point, he literally took a few steps away from his own bench during a timeout. He walked away from his own huddle. He was disengaged and he was gone. And then he got to the podium, and that's when it really caught fire. Reporters asked him what happened out there, and over again, his answer was basically,
What went wrong for you today? Go ask the coaching staff.
and then he dropped this line.
According to them, probably don't play me, honestly. That's what basically the message was.
Does that look like a franchise cornerstone that really cares about winning? He's just shrugging the loss off. Memphis suspended him a game for it, and this wasn't some random
One game for detrimental. What?
reaction. According to Shams, Memphis' head coach Tomas Lisalo had challenged Ja's leadership and his effort in a post-game conversation, and Ja answered back in a tone that the team called inappropriate. The suspension cost him around $272,000 for one night. Now here's the part that makes this really sad. Lisalo was the exact
Dang, every player is making bank.
Memphis brought in to get the best out of Ja. That was the whole point of
Bro, one night of playtime for you. What?
hire, and the relationship they built specifically to save Ja's career became the thing that detonated it. And then it went from a benching to a full-on divorce because a few weeks later, Tim McMahon and Michael Wright reported that Ja had told players around the league and some of his former coaches that he's just done. He's not playing for Memphis anymore. He wants out. That right there is the moment a bad night turned into the end of an era. Let's talk about the basketball portion of this, shall we? Because the attitude stuff only matters because of what's happening on the floor. And here's
True.
the uncomfortable truth that a lot of people skip right past. John Morant was never actually a good shooter. I know that sounds harsh, but the numbers don't lie. For his entire
Like, bro, he's only shot about like 30, bro. Made probably 30.
career, Ja's a 31% three
Wow, bro, how did I guess that?
shooter. To put that in plain English, that is dead even with Russell Westbrook, a guy who's basically become a meme for not being able to shoot. The whole dream of Ja as an MVP level superstar was built on the idea that he'd eventually grow into at least a passable shooter, just enough to keep defenses honest, but he never did. And this past season, it completely fell through the floor. 23.5% from three, a career low. So if you
That
can't
is
shoot,
crazy.
your whole game has to be built on getting downhill and finishing at the rim.
True.
That right there is the scary part, because that's the exact thing that's slipping away. Scouts are already asking whether Ja's already lost his pop, and when's the last time he even got his chin above the rim. And it's not just one
Bro, I think. Is he scared?
guy. Analysts are straight up comparing Ja's whole career arc to John Wall and Derrick Rose, two
1, 2, and he got 12. You not how that W, bro.
little guards whose bodies just gave out from all of the pounding. But here's the most telling part of all. After one too many brutal landings, the best in-game dunker of his entire generation told reporters flat out,
Ja told ESPN's Tim McMahon his dunking days may soon be coming to an end. I'm not trying to dunk at all. Y'all think I'm lying? I'm dead serious.
and when fans booed him for laying the ball ball in soft instead of throwing it down, his response was, continue to boo me. I got 2 points. So John Morant is at least
True.
cognizant about what his situation is.
Like, bro, bro, this dude's not gonna
And he
risk his whole career just to make you happy, man.
at least tried to make a change, but I don't think that change really worked for him. When you put all this together, the math gets really ugly really quickly. This is a guy who can't shoot and can't get to the rim at the rate that he used to. His efficiency just collapsed. He shot 41% from the field this year, and his player
God
efficiency
dang.
rating
It's like 20, 30, like 30% from 3. You trash, bro.
which is basically an all-in-one number of how
Trash,
productive
bro.
a player is, fell to 16.6. For comparison, the league average is 15, and his own career mark is 20. And on top of every bit of that, he just can't stay healthy. ESPN says he's
Sure.
appeared in fewer than 40%
40%
of
of the games is crazy.
his games since
Back to
his
back
back-to-back All-Star
All-Stars.
years. 79 games in 3 seasons. And it gets even sadder when
Dang.
you listen to how league executives feel about Ja Morant's trade value. League execs summed up his entire trade value very easily. He has a problem with availability, attitude, and diminished production. So really think about it, guys. That's injuries, entitlement, and a fading game. In that exact order. The game got smaller, but his ego didn't. Ja Morant could potentially
got
be
bigger.
worth the drama if he was still a superstar, but he's not playing like a superstar anymore. Yet, you're getting this franchise centerpiece diva attitude stapled onto a role player's production, and he's getting overpaid for that type of production. And that is
True.
the package that Memphis is out here
Bro,
trying to
my boy Jaw over here, like, bro, he spent 2 years dunking and everything. Bro, this dude need to work on his shot, bro. He didn't work. I don't think he worked on his shot at all. That's a crazy thing about it. If he just worked on his shot, yeah, he would have been great. Right? I ain't gonna hold you. But the fact that he didn't work on his shot, oh my god, he's trash.
and it's a pretty tough buy.
Like, bro,
Amendment 4 ends
you're shooting like 30%, not like 20, 30%. Come on now.
the rule in Missouri. With Amendment 4, a measure would need to win all 8
You can't even lay up the ball half the time, so like it don't even matter at this point. Just start working on your shot.
So just 5% of voters could veto what most Missourians want. Vote no on Amendment 4.
What's this brand?
And your shot is basically it. Like, yeah, your shot is basically all you need for real. Cause Curry can shoot, right? But he can also lay up the ball. So it's like, come on.
We don't pay big brand marketing.
This is before we even get into Ja Morant's history. I mean, you guys already know. March 2023, a video goes around of Ja Morant flashing a gun at a nightclub near Denver. The NBA suspends him 8 games. Okay, this is a mistake. He's young. Whatever. Except a few months later, he's caught on a live stream doing basically the exact same thing. Flashing a gun, this time from a car, and the league drops the hammer with a 25-game suspension to start the next season, which cost him a little over $7 million in salary.
God dang.
$75,000 fine in 2025 for an inappropriate gesture during a game. And then came the bench
This, my dude. Bruh.
we just talked about.
Grenades and all that.
You can see the
It's
pattern,
just
right?
obsessed with guns and shit, bro. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that hard to figure out. He's just obsessed with guns, bro. Come on. Like, bro. I reckon to you, the NFL has celebrations like that. But they find they find so much, bro. All these leagues find everything. Like every celebration, so you gotta find the most family friendly thing, man.
It's the same lane over and over and over again. And every single time it happens, 2 things go up: the league's frustration and the invisible tax on his trade value. Because when a team trades for Ja Morant in 2026, they're not just trading for a basketball player anymore. They're trading for the risk. There's already a risk of whether he's going to be available due to his injury history, but there's also
Bro, I swear to you, bro. I look like AI person. I'm
the
like, bro,
risk
what the
of what the next headline going to be. So, do you remember when I said that Ja Morant's about to join a graveyard? Let's go visit it for a second. Because here's what people forget: the league has seen this exact movie before. The explosive, undersized, athletic point guard who takes
John Wall and wait, What's her name? Rose.
by storm, gets the giant bag, and then watches his own body betray him. It's almost a genre at this point. And there's three names that should terrify every single John Morant fan that's watching this. Let's start with Derrick Rose. In 2011, D. Rose became the youngest MVP in NBA history at
22.
22 years old, younger than Ja is right now. He was Chicago's hometown kid, a 6'3" point guard who attacked the rim with this beautiful, reckless fearlessness. He led the Bulls to a 62-win season. The whole city was his, and he signed his max deal and told his mom, "Mom, we finally made it." And then, during the first game of the 2012 playoffs,
The first game is crazy.
tears his ACL, and that was the beginning of the end. A torn ACL, then a torn meniscus, then another torn meniscus, then another knee surgery, injury after injury after injury, and every single one chipped away at the explosiveness that made him special. The youngest MVP ever spent the rest of his prime bouncing around 6 different teams, mostly coming off the bench, just chasing minutes. He never sniffed that level again. Same athletic, downhill, undersized guard. Same body that could
6-0 Rose. Yo, this dude's still in the. I'm like, bro, what?
hold up. But at least Derrick Rose got an MVP. John Wall wasn't as fortunate. Wall was the former #1 overall pick, a 5-time All-Star, one of the fastest guards the league had ever seen. In 2017, Washington gave him a 4-year, $171 million supermax. And then the injuries came. Knee problems, and then he tore his Achilles after slipping at his own house, and he missed 18 months. And here's
Dang, that's sad, bro.
the part that
You,
should
bro,
make
it's at your own crib, bro.
his sweat. Wall's giant contract became completely untradeable.
Nah,
Nobody wanted
bro.
it. It got so bad that John Wall would get traded to the Rockets, and the Rockets literally agreed he'd just sit at home and not play while they tried to find a trade. And they just couldn't find one. He was making about $44 million a year to stay home and watch TV. That works out to a roughly $121,000 a day to not play basketball. An
Hey, hold on, that's actually pretty nice.
explosive guard, a massive guaranteed contract, and an injury that stole his athleticism. And a deal so toxic that his own team had to pay him to go away. And the third one is, of course, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook won MVP
Bro,
in 2017. He averaged a triple-double for
when
an
he was like 25.
entire season, something only Oscar Robertson had ever done before him.
True.
He's the all-time leader in triple-doubles, an absolute force of nature. But here's the problem, and it's Ja's problem too. Russ couldn't shoot. Career 30% from 3. And once his athleticism started to fade and the league got smarter and smarter about spacing and three-pointers, that inability to shoot became fatal. He went from MVP to a guy who bounced through 6 teams in a handful of years, from OKC to Houston to Washington to the Lakers to the Clippers to Denver to Sacramento, getting moved over and over.
Dang, he was on the Kings? But I don't really do the Nuggets or the Kings, bro. I remember everything else, bro. Like, no, I remember him on the Nuggets, kind of. But, like, on the Kings, no.
Eventually coming off the bench. The explosive non-shooting guard whose game just did not age. Does that sound familiar to you guys at all? So I just gave you a compelling reason for why Memphis wants to trade Ja. But there's another reason they want to trade Ja. And a lot of it has to do with all their recent moves. If you
Sure.
pay attention, back in March of 2025, the Grizzlies did something genuinely shocking. They fired Taylor Jenkins, their winningest coach in the history of the franchise. They were 44-29, sitting as the 5th seed in the West. You don't fire your all-time winningest coach 9 games before the playoffs unless something is deeply, deeply broken behind the scenes. ESPN called it one of the more shockingly timed firings in recent NBA history.
Like, they love firing people, bro.
So what was actually broken? Well, before that season, Memphis had brought in an assistant named Tomas Lisalo, specifically to modernize the offense and get the most out of John Morant. And it worked. The new system had Memphis humming near the top of the West. But then, Jenkins basically took the offense back over from his assistants. The whole thing slowed down, the team started losing, and the tension between Jenkins and the front office boiled over. The headline from ESPN's reporting said it all. No one was on the same page. And the thing they
True.
could not get on the same page about was how to fix Ja Morant. They fired a franchise legend coach over it. That's how deep this goes. And it didn't even work. We
Over
saw in
Jaws,
Minnesota.
really.
The team stumbled to the 8th seed. They got swept in the first round. So that summer, Memphis stopped tinkering and started tearing it down. First, they traded Desmond Bain, Jaws' running mate, one of the best shooters in the league, to Orlando for Contavious Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 first-round picks. This is a trade that you make if you're heading towards a rebuild. And to be honest, those picks
True.
are probably going to be very valuable because the Magic seem to be
Didn't
a
they
middle
trade
of the ground
Adam?
team at this point.
Didn't they?
Then, this
Didn't they trade Adam? Cause I remember, yo, I used to play Adam, Clark, and everybody, bro. And then they got Zach. Come on, bro.
past February, they
Eddie,
went
they got
even
Eddie.
further. They traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Utah Jazz,
Yes. Oh
and they
my
did this after
God.
handing him a 5-year, $240 million max extension. The Grizzlies' general manager, Zach Kleiman, keeps calling this a reset, not a rebuild from nothing. And he keeps centering every single sentence on the franchise, on the young core, guys like Zach Edey and Cedric Howard, not on the player. You notice what's missing from all those quotes? The name
Yeah.
Ja Morant. When your general manager stops talking about your franchise guy and starts talking about opening up opportunities for everybody else, that's not subtle. They're very clear that they're trying to move on from Ja.
Sure.
This
Those
idea
the
of
bitch you gonna trade them, bro.
continuous reinvention, I think, is really important. It doesn't end.
It
right?
does not end.
Welcome to Reinvented with
Why do I
Experience.
watch 50 seconds for shit? Stupid.
You're about to lose $50,000 for your car accident because you don't know this one trick. Check this out.
But there's a huge problem. Ja Morant is still on his 5-year max. He's set to make $87 million over the next 2 years, and then hit free agency in 2028. When you frame that
Oh man.
against what he actually is right now, that's $87 million for a guard who's played 79 games in 3 years and just shot 41% from the field. You can see why teams don't want to trade for him. And the league sees it too. Back at the trade deadline, executives felt that his value was
Bro, he should really work on his shot, bro. Holy, he like, bro. That's a good better church. Look. Okay, so say, okay, say you're gonna play on the team, right? Say, dang, hold up. Say you're gonna play on the Wolves, right? The Timberwolves, right? So cause they have good people on the team, bro. They have straight Lamelo and what you call it now? Yeah, they have Lamelo and all them now, but you want to be a good team, right? So you work on your shot, see like improve over these 2 years, like 1 to 2 years, and then once that 2028 season rolls by, you get traded, you work with the team, boom, bro, you're done, bro. Like straight up.
so low that Memphis shouldn't expect to get much back at all. And reporting indicated that the Grizzlies would basically have to attach their own draft picks just to convince the team
Also, can like clip me, bro? Like yo, I should said in the beginning of the video.
to take him on. That's how far Ja Morant has fallen. So if Memphis is selling, who's actually buying? Well, honestly, the
I don't
market
know, man.
doesn't look that great. The cleanest fit is the Sacramento Kings. The Kings have circled him, and right now, Devin Carter is basically the only point guard they've got under contract for next season. So they have a real need. But make no mistake, taking on Ja would be a massive swing for a franchise that's already short on long-term answers. Then there's
Sure.
Miami, the classic fallback, the kind of team that pivots to Ja if it strikes out on a bigger fish, which for the Heat this summer means a guy named Giannis. But the Heat have a history of striking out on big fish, and I cover that separately in our
Oh
Giannis
my
video.
god, the Clippers spoiled Giannis trade.
Want to check it out? Another option is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What did I say?
Wolves are operating under a real mandate this summer. Per Per Brian Windhorst, the entire push to find a co-star is coming straight from Anthony Edwards, who's been leaning on the front office after a third straight playoff run that ended short of the finals. Their president, Tim Connolly, literally said everything is on the table, and Jake Fisher named Minnesota as one of the teams hunting exactly the kind of off-the-dribble shot creation that Ja provides. And honestly, the irony writes itself. Minnesota needs a co-star because they traded Cat to the Knicks. Cat wins a championship with the Knicks, so okay, let's go bring in a worse co-star for Anthony Edwards. But you can never rule out the
bro.
Milwaukee Bucks making a desperate trade to try to appease Giannis. And this is as desperate as it could possibly be. Yeah, it would be cute to see Ja Morant reunite with Taylor Jenkins. At the same time, Giannis and Ja would not work. I mean, both of them can't space out the floor. It would probably be the equivalent of when the Lakers traded for Russell Westbrook. I
I
can maybe
mean,
see Milwaukee taking a flyer on him once they traded Giannis and they just needed somebody to get Bucks fans excited about. But the timing on this all hinges on one domino. Nobody really moves on Ja until the
yeah, Giannis got traded to Miami, I think.
situation finally resolves. The teams that strike out chasing Giannis are the exact same teams that come knocking on Memphis's doors. So when Giannis moves, watch Ja's market light up right behind it. Now, if you don't know what's the latest on the Giannis situation, I covered it in a completely separate video, and
Yeah, it's really to Giannis trade. Again, you're promoting Leah.
absolutely insane. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to leave it in the end screen, and I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
That was a great video, bro. Shout out to you, shout out to him. He's him. I'm out.